time in something that we call collective intelligence. What that is pretty much the capacity for intelligent people to stop doing the opposite. It happens that when many intelligent people work together, our IQ decreases. And that's been an element of a study for many of us. And I've been doing something which is called social biomimicry, understanding how nature does it, which is the major intelligence that we have access to, understanding that, and then we are applying that into social systems. And one of the elements that we have found is that the more interconnected an ecosystem is, the more healthy and resilient it is. So we are working also in strengthening the ways on how community is interconnected, or are aware that we are interconnected, interdependent, and that there is an inherent unity within all of us. In the way we recognize all of this, we will be able to move forward. And when I first saw Barbara's book in 2000, and I went into the graphics and into the intelligence that she was putting into that, I said to myself, these are the codes for planetary awakening, for a planetary transformation. And then I met her in 2012. And after that, we started working together in Mexico in a very interesting process. It is one of the most advanced civil society, I would say, experiments going on there in that city, in which the business leaders, the top Coca-Cola or cement industry business, they started leading the way in transforming their city. Why? Because the city was taken over by the drug dealers. So their business was in danger. And they started a crusade with all these civil society leaders. They built an alliance to work together. They created a citizens' agenda, and the government was knocking at the door saying, I want to be part of this. And they say, well, let's work it out. They have a project called Measure How We Are Doing, and they are meeting every 2 months with the government, not asking them, how are you doing, but how can we help you? So it was under that context in which we started bringing the will of co-creation into the praxis on how we can work in a holistic and systemic way to find the solutions that are needed to evolve society. So this is how we started working and how the Office for the Future can bring all these type of methodologies and processes to really tap into the collective intelligence of our community, into the systemic solutions that are needed to evolve and shift our systems. So I want to very briefly show you a little bit of what the Office for the Future is. What is the essence of the Office for the Future? It is a new function within our interconnected and interdependent global society. What Barbara has been talking about is that as we have become or grown into a global interconnected society, we need a new social function. The Office for the Future is a new social function that we need to have in municipalities, in governments at the national level and at the global level. And we believe the UN has to play a very important role in leading and creating that function. It is a process to strengthen civil society's participation in coping with humanity's greatest challenges. The task for the SDGs and for all the work that we need to do is not only the government's role and task. It is everybody's responsibility to make it happen. And the work that we are doing at the grassroots levels, strengthening the alliance between organized civil society and conscious business leaders, it has proven to be a very effective formula to accelerate transformation. And this is happening as we speak. It is a place in which our collective genius can meet and co-create a thriving global society. What happens to me when I meet at the society with big business leaders and with sometimes NGO leaders, right, the community level, and I ask them, what can we do for the community? Sometimes they are not up to date to the greatest innovations that are happening around the world. The Office for the Future can bring access and inspiration to what is working everywhere around in the world. So that's something I've been finding that in many ways, people wanting to do something but not having access to the greatest solutions. And also, it is an engine to illuminate and empower the breakthrough and game-changing solutions to evolve our social operating system, SOS, very timely. We want to evolve our social operating systems. Is the way we make decisions, how do we distribute wealth and power, how do we heal ourselves, how do we build infrastructure. It is an operating system. We need to upgrade it to the complexity that we're living now. And what Barbara calls them golden innovations, which are actions that is not only what is working, but it is an initiative that have the DNA of the next evolutionary step of our social systems. And this is very important because this is when we get into the social acupuncture business. There are many things to be done in the world, but there are so few of them that if we do them right, the whole system will shift. We will basically get into the domino effect. And we have experts that can help us and guide us to find those actions, so then we can focus our efforts on those specific actions. And that will be a function of the Office for the Future. So I just want to show you in a very general way how the Office for the Future has some elements, and I will also have Laura to help me to explain some of this. But the way we see the Office for the Future, it has different levels on how we work. There will be, on one level, we're calling them co-creation circles, in which people works in a very self-organizing way. It is a very easy way on how community can work together, can learn to strengthen their social fabric. And pretty much is how people find the right placement to act within the community. It's a community support process, the co-creation circles, getting people to find what they want to do in the world and get people to support each other. Then we have the regional and national office level, which is where we do all the mapping, tracking, connecting. It's like basically the matchmaking mechanism for someone that wants to do something to be able to find each other. This is a matchmaking mechanism for co-creation. And this is a very important element that needs to happen here. And along with that, we are working with different people, experts, on how we can create something that we call the vital signs monitoring, which we can look into what are the precise actions that we need to do, and we can map it. That this can be completely aligned with the SDGs, and we make whatever indicators or layers that we want to have around this. And all of this, we are linking this to the many organizations and groups that are doing collective actions to create the future. And here we also name what Mr. Fuller says. If you want to know the future, create it, invent it. And this is what the Office for the Future is for. And basically, we can have, we are building synergies with all sorts of organizations around the world that are already building collective gatherings to bring the genius of society to co-create the future. This is already happening. It is a self-organizing process that is emerging in many shapes and many forms worldwide. What we are doing at this point, we are meeting with many of those leaders, and we are building alliances and partnerships with them. Some of those partnerships that we're building are happening in Denmark. They are very keen in bringing the Office for the Future into action, where the person holding the flag in Denmark, she's talking to the person representing the sustainability department in Denmark, and they want to have like an Office for the Future dome, sustainability dome, in which all of this can be happening in there. So we're going to start our first event there in May. In Mexico, we are doing the same. There are many people raising their hands saying, we are ready, let's play together. So this is becoming like a society's movement for self-organizing and taking collective actions. And just here, this is just a little bit more into detail what exactly happens into the elements and functions of the Office for the Future. And perhaps here I want Laura to share a little bit of what she's doing as building a prototype right now for an Office for the Future, and she's been working very hard with us in bringing more clarity of the praxis on how an Office for the Future could be opened at any local community.
Thank you, Juan Carlos. My name is Laura George, and I'm the executive director of a charity called the Orville Institute, and we've been working with Barbara Marx Hubbard and the Foundation for Conscious Evolution for, I don't know, about 5 years now. We have opened, I think it's the first hub on the Wheel of Co-Creation. It's the first regional hub for the Office for the Future. We launched it, we have a very patriotic sub-theme. We launched it on the 4th of July, Independence Day, and our campus is in a town called Independence, Virginia. And UN Peace Ambassador Patrick McCullum was there for the launch, and he played the peace violin, which is very appropriate because our hub is called the Peace Pentagon Hub. Get it? You got the War Pentagon in Northern Virginia and the Peace Pentagon in Southern Virginia. So, yeah, we are operational, we're up and running, and we are scanning for what's working in the DC metropolitan and Virginia regions. Those are the areas we're covering, which that in of itself is quite ambitious. We're mapping. We're mapping what's happening. We're connecting people who are at cutting edge organizations and who are doing just amazing work in our region. And then we are communicating. Right now we have a virtual presence. The website is peacepentagon.net. And the Peace Pentagon itself is also going to be a physical presence. It's about halfway completed. And we are very excited about having this structure. So just to give you an idea of the things we're doing, these are just some quick examples. In the economic sector, for instance, we're following the grant coin. And that's the first currency that's based on a nonprofit concept. Pretty exciting stuff. In the culture section, we're very close to the Federation of Damanhur, which I personally believe is the most amazing community on the planet. Another example, in the governance sector, we work, and actually I'm on the board of an entity that's associated with the Earth Federation movement and the Earth Constitution. Professor Glenn Martin, who won the Gussie International Peace Prize, is just an hour and a half down the road from us in Radford, Virginia. So those are the things that we're following. And then at the local level, what we want to do is start some circles in our region. And what we've done is we've created a schematic design manual to assist. They're actually in the appendix, helpful hints on how to start a co-creation circle locally and how they would integrate and communicate with the hubs, which would then communicate with the national office and so on. So please get a copy of the manual on the way out. And I just want to say we're very excited to be part of this amazing, novel, fresh, and integrated plan for the future. And we're really hoping that the UN will allow us to participate at that level too.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you, Laura. Yes, at this level, we are envisioning how to create a network of different offices for the future around the world. We are working on a concept called franchising, which basically people that are already doing something about self-organizing and working together can basically jump into the network. It is a way to network. And then the next phase here, that is not in this slide on purpose, which is global. This is where we believe the UN has a very important role to play, and this is the question we have here in the center for all of you. How this role and function could work within the UN. And just to finish, what we are working on right now, we are working with groups in the UK, well, different places in Europe, and specifically a place in the Netherlands at the Synergy Hub in Rotterdam. There is a group of software designers creating the next internet. It's a decentralized internet and a social network that is going to help us to cook. It's a synergy engine that will help us to find each other and co-create using all sorts of new wealth exchange systems. And they are working along with many other groups in the States here, bringing together this new software. We are expecting to have this operational next year, so this could be the synergy engine that can help us take this to the next level and have it running 24/7, having people being able to connect, to co-create, to get into synchronized actions. And in that way, I want to introduce you to a deal that is already making it happening. And he is one of, I think, our greatest alliances and partnerships in bringing this to reality and to the next level. So I would like to welcome Adil and tell us, how are you going to make this happen?